to Lauren Reed Color. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Saturday Snippets. In today's video, we're going to be continuing our Crocodile on the Sandbank page in Meine Reis durch Afrika by Rita Berman. This is what we've done so far. We have done the mosque and the night sky and the palm tree and dates, the flowers and the lily pads. And today we're going to be working on the water. And for that, we are going to be using Pablo pencils. Of course, I will also give you the alternatives in Prismacolor. So we're going to use bluish pale, sapphire blue, night blue, jade green, and gentian blue. I think that's what it's called. Yes, gentian blue. And we might also use a polychromos dark indigo for the deepest shadows. Let me show you the Prismacolor alternatives. So it is bluish pale, sky blue light, gentian blue, true blue, sapphire blue, cerulean blue, night blue, indanthrene, and jade green is light green. And if you don't have the polychromos dark indigo, you can use indigo blue in Prismacolor as an alternative. Before we get started on that, let me just show you what I've been doing this week. I completed 2 pages this week. The first one is in Mythomorphia by Kirby Rozannes, and this was a really long-term whip. I belong to a group on Instagram for the Mythomorphia book, and the page that I worked on and completed is the one that was chosen for February and March, and I have slowly been chipping away at it. So the page that I worked on is this Kitsune page, and I'm really pleased with the end result. It doesn't all fit on camera, so I will just show you from this end to this end and put it down here in the middle. So I based it with Inktense in the background, on the trees, on the grass. The tail and the Kitsune are Neocolor 2s, and the basing for the clouds is Derwent Graphitant. And then I shaded everything with Polychromos pencils, except for the clouds, which I used Harmonious pencils as those muted grays, purplish grays, bluish grays are really great for shading clouds. So I really like the way it came out. It did go through a bit of an ugly duckling phase at one point, but I think that the shading with the Polychromos was a perfect complement to the Neocolor 2s and the Inktense. And yeah, I'm really pleased with the end result, and it got me through the really tough time of losing Toby. So this page is always going to hold a special place in my heart. Yeah, so that is my page in Mythomorphia. Another page that I finished is in Lunar by Lydia Fenwick, and the page that I completed is this Fireworks Dragon. So this was a buddy color with the wonderful Kate from Kate's Coloring Haven. We decided that we wanted to do a page together, and of all the options that were suggested, both of us really liked this one. I absolutely adore Kate's version. I will show it to you in my completed pages video, but let's just say that she was inspired by Mulan. I, on the other hand, was inspired by an image that I found on Pinterest. It is this one. So I decided to take the golds and the blues from the inspiration image and put it onto my page. I drew in the circle, and then I based with Faber-Castell Art Grip Aquarelle watercolor pencils, both for the background and then for the dragon itself. And then I shaded using Castle Arts pencils. And finally, I put in some Langwao gel pen for some of the shiny embellishments, because it says on the page that gold and silver are associated with the dragon. So I put the silver on his scales and on his whiskers, yes, and his eyebrows, and on the fireworks part, the glowing part of the fireworks. So yeah, I wanted to put those touches in the page as well to go along with the gold and silver of the description. Yeah, so this was really quick and fun to color, and I enjoyed comparing our pages with Kate very much. It was fun to chat with her. Yeah, so that is my page in Lunar by Lydia Fenwick. Next, I have some whips. The first one is in Wish You Were Here by Teresa Goodridge. Let me just say that this isn't really a page that I worked on very much. In fact, I didn't actually color anything, rather I erased. I decided that I wasn't really a fan of my gradient sky on the page that I was working on, and I decided just to erase quite a bit of it and redo it. So I haven't really done any of the redoing, I've only done the erasing. Anyway, the page that I'm talking about is this springtime picnic page. It is a page that is going to be a speed coloring tutorial up on the channel. And if you remember previous Saturday snippets where I showed my progress, you might remember that I had sort of a pinkish yellowish gradient here to indicate a sunset, but I decided that I didn't like it. And oops, there is a plane going by. Let me just pause and I'll be right back. Sorry about that. So as I was saying, I didn't like the pink-yellow gradient that I had on the page before, so I decided to erase it. And then I also noticed that this sun or moon, depending on whether you do a daytime or a nighttime page, is behind the clouds, so it shouldn't be so bright. Anyway, I took my electric eraser and I erased all of the yellow and the pink, and I'm going to replace it with purple bluish colors to get that kind of gradient down to the bottom, and then I will color the rest of the page. So that is the page that I erased in Wish You Were Here by Teresa Goodridge. I also started another Teresa Goodridge page. This time it is in Country Kitchen Charm, and the page that I began is this Cozy Nook page. I have a personal challenge of coloring a cat every month, so I've chosen this page for that challenge, and it's because there is this cute little kitty in his basket on the floor here. I've decided that I want to do a blue-pink color scheme, and I'm using Prismacolor pencils. So far I've just colored in the back wall, and I've started doing the wood and shading that. I'm going to be using the same color for this wood on the table and the chair, but I will do a different wood combination for the benches and the floor. Or I might use this combination on the floor and then a different combination for the chair, the table, and the benches. Yes, I think that might be better. Yeah, but it's definitely going to be blues and pinks, and I might add another color for other elements. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do with the fireplace. I have to think about that. Maybe marble, but we'll see. Yeah, so a page that I've started in Country Kitchen Charm by Teresa Goodridge. The last page that I worked on this week is in Daydreams by Hannah Carlson, and it is this Lady Octopus page. I am using this palette from Sarah Renee Clark's Color Cubes, so the turquoise, surf, blue sapphire, anthracite, English violet, mulberry, and dark salmon, and I'm putting it on the different elements of the page. I've done the dark salmon and the purple for her hair. I've done the turquoise surf and the pinks and purples for some of the shells and the leaves. I'm still debating what to do with the fish. I did use the anthracite color on her earring, and I'm thinking of also bringing this color over to the fish and maybe putting it in with the different shades of peach and pink on the fish as well. Yeah, there are a lot of fish on this page, and I don't want them all to look the same. So we will see what I will do with that. By the way, there is a video up on the channel on how I used Karen from my Colorful Country Life's palette kit website to create gradients for all these colors so that I could see how they would work on the page. And I really enjoyed using that website and seeing how the gradients are now appearing on the page. That's fun and neat. Anyway, so this is the other page that I worked on this week, and now we're going to start coloring our crocodile on the sandbank page. We're zoomed in, and I'm just going to put a light layer of this bluish pale color over the entire water so that we get a nice bluish undertone. As I said, you can use sky blue light for this if you're using Prismacolor, but a really light hand because we're going to be layering other pencils on top. So I'm just going to get started with that. Right, so just a reminder to everybody that these videos are chatty videos. So if you don't want to hear me talk about all the different things that I did this week or saw this week, please feel free to mute me, put on your favorite TV show or your favorite music and color along, and you don't have to listen to me go on and on. Yeah. Okay. So on that note, welcome, and I hope that you are all enjoying your weekend and that you had a good week. Yeah, my week was okay. I went to work, I read books, I played video games, I colored, I watched people's YouTube videos. So I did a lot. Sometimes you don't really realize how much you've done until you look back on the week and you're, wow, I did all of that. I see that there is this color here. Do I want to make that? I'm also going to make that water. Yes, I'm just going very lightly over everything so that we get a nice bluish undertone to everything. So it was an interesting week. As I said, I went to work, and my students were working on their presentation skills. So I went through the rubric to discuss how I would be grading it. I showed them how to prepare the presentation. It always it surprises me how the students use PowerPoint or Google Slides or whatever presentation software they're using. They put lots of words on it. It's like they feel that in order to remember what they want to say, they have to put everything they want to say onto the PowerPoint, which makes it really wordy. And I'm constantly telling the students every year, whichever group it is, that PowerPoint, Google Slides, these are visual tools. So you should have more images, diagrams, tables, charts on them that you can refer to and talk about rather than all the words. Because what happens if you have all these words on the screen, the audience is not going to be listening to you. They're going to be reading whatever is on the slide, and whatever you're saying to them is going to go in one ear and out the other. But they struggle with this idea. It takes some resetting in their brain. So we were talking about that. And I was showing them, everything's ChatGPT these days, or AI. So I was showing them, I explained to them, you can use AI. However, if all you do is use AI, you're not going to get a good grade. You have to adapt the AI. First of all, you have to, fact check. Hold on, let me move on to our next color, which is going to be jade green. Now, I'm not going to be putting this color everywhere. I'm going to be putting it in some select areas. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to put it here. Okay. And here, just like some random spots. You don't even have to do it in the same places that I do it. Yeah, so I was telling them that they could use AI, but they had to fact check and they had to adapt it. So for example, if they ask AI to make them a table to compare, different things, then and the AI doesn't give them exactly what they want, they can refine the results. They can adapt it. They can make it their own, and to not use those generic, boring AI images that look so fake and processed. And yeah, I told them, think critically, find pictures to replace the AI pictures, make sure that whatever picture you choose, you can talk about, you can discuss, you can show how it's relevant to the topic that you're working on. And I showed them the rubric, and I said, AI work is not going to score as well as either adapted AI or presentations that don't have any AI. So one of my students says to me, but how will you know that it's AI? And I told him, I've been a teacher for 23 years, and I know the level of work that students can achieve, and I know when something is AI. He was convinced that I wouldn't be able to tell. We will see. I'm really hoping that he doesn't use AI or only AI to do his presentation. Okay, oh, I like that. Okay, now we're going to go in with the gentian blue, okay? And we're going to start deepening up our shadows. So yeah, I have 3 classes that are doing those presentation skill lessons, and so I have them twice a week. So the first lesson was preparing presentations, and then the second lesson was practicing speaking, okay, speaking skills. So I decided that to do something fun with them, and so what I did was I divided them up into groups and did it sort of like a competition. I told them, you are in a boat and your boat is sinking. Hold on, it's gone too much into my highlight area. Let me just erase. Okay, so you are on a boat and your boat is sinking in a storm, but you're near an island. And I keep doing that. And you're near an island which is within swimming distance. But in your group, you only have one small bag, and you have a list of items that you can choose to put in the bag to help you to survive on the island until rescue comes. So you can only take 4 items. So I told them that each group can only take 4 items, and then later on we're going to do a vote, and we're going to see which groups chose wisely and will survive, until they get rescued, and which groups have not chosen very wisely and might not survive, and they'll have to vote, but they won't be able to vote for their own group. So they spent a good 30 minutes choosing items, discussing how they would use them. They wanted items that could be used for multiple uses, not just one thing. Some groups were quite intelligent and chose very interesting items that they could use, and others were not so practical and chose some somewhat dubious items. It always amazes me that they so many of the groups automatically want to take a weapon. So one of the options is a rifle that only has 4 bullets, but so many of them want to take this rifle with them. And I always ask them, okay, so what are you going to do with this rifle? And they're all like, well, it's for protection. And I'm like, what are you going to protect yourself from? And they're like, bears. And I always say to them, seriously, you think one little rifle with 4 bullets is going to protect you if a bear decides that it wants to eat you? And you do know that bears don't really eat people? They're such city people, these students. Anyway, and then came the voting section, and some of the groups decided that they needed to do strategic voting. Yes, so that they would still win, even if they hadn't chosen such good items. So we did that, and then sometimes the strategic voting helped them and sometimes not. But then I said, okay, we're going to do another round. And in this round, you're all going to get a scenario. So I had printed out some scenarios for using the items that they have on the island. And I said, you can only use the items that you have chosen to cope with these various scenarios that you have. So there were scenarios like you are on King Kong Island and you have to avoid King Kong and the dinosaurs, or you're on an island where there are some poisonous fruits and you don't know what's poisonous, or you're on an island that has zombies. Okay, here we're going to put this all over here because it's the mouth and it's in the shadow areas. Or there are snakes on your island, or your island is sinking. So there was one group who actually they had chosen in the first stage, they had chosen to take a raft. an inflatable raft. And at first everyone was like, but what are you going to do with this inflatable raft since you're waiting to be rescued? But then they got that scenario with the sinking island, and it turned out that having that inflatable raft was actually a good thing. So sometimes, serendipity. Another group who also got that card, but a different group, not the same class, because all the cards only appeared once. They didn't have the raft, and then they decided that they were going to build their own raft, but they didn't have an axe, so they couldn't build their raft. So when it came time for voting, they lost because they were stuck on their island and didn't have a way to get off. So those were fun lessons. We had a good time, but I must say that when the lessons were over that day, it was Wednesday, and I got home, I was so exhausted. Those kinds of lessons are very tiring. We are going to blend this color out with that jade green again, because I like the combination that I'm getting with this color and the jade green. It's a nice combination. These Pablo pencils blend so beautifully. Okay, so yeah, that was work. What else did I do this week? So I also, as I said, I read some books. Did I say I read some books? I finished my audiobook, which was Kitty Goes to War. This is book number, I want to say it's 9. Number 9. Book number 9 in the Kitty Norval series by Carrie Vaughan. Kitty Norval is a radio talk show host, but she also happens to be a werewolf. It's an urban fantasy. It's fun. So she's a werewolf. And in this particular episode of her adventures, I just want to lighten up my highlight area again. You can always do this. If you layer and you see that your highlight area is too dark, you can always erase. So in this particular, okay, let me just see here. This is the crocodile's stomach. This is his foot. I'm assuming that this is water. So, okay, we're going to have this color underneath the belly of the crocodile because it's casting shadow. And, so Kitty Norval had to help some other werewolves who were soldiers. They were soldier werewolves. The military had recruited them to be soldiers. So she was helping them because they were suffering a little bit from PTSD. And there was also a weather mage who was causing havoc. So she was dealing with that as well. Yeah, it's a fun series. I enjoy it. And the narrator of that audiobook is Marguerite Gavin, who is just an amazing narrator. I love her. She's excellent. She's got such a fabulous voice. There are a couple of narrators that I really love. So I love her. I love Lauren Fortgang. She does the Gin Blanco. What's the name of that series? The name of the protagonist is Gin. But the name of the series, it's all about spiders. Everything's to do with spiders. Spider's web. I can't remember the name of the series. I will look it up and I will put it on the screen. Elemental Assassin. Yes, sorry. That's the name of the series. It came to me in a whoosh. So it's called Elemental Assassin. Also about mages who have different powers. All of the powers are associated with the elements. So Lauren Fortgang, she's the narrator for that series, and of course Renee Roudman, who does the Ilona Andrews, Kate Daniel series. The more recent books in that series are not narrated by Renee Raudman. It's a different narrator, just as good, but I do miss Renee Raudman. She had such great voices for all the creatures. Ooh, yes, I'm enjoying this. This looks really nice. Okay, now we want to deepen up our shadows even more. Or do we want to blend first with that jade green? I do want to put some more of this color. Oh, I'm off screen, sorry, hold on. Some more of this color over here. Just show the waves. We're also going to be using a gel pen or an acrylic marker as well, so keep that in mind for the waves. Okay. All right, I'm going to definitely take the jade green now and blend this out. So we're just blending out this gentian blue. I like the combination that we've gotten from it. Okay. Here, just let me make sure I'm protecting my hand, or actually the page from my hand. Yeah, so I finished that book. I also finished the ebook that I was reading from the library. It was called Iron Master. I don't remember if I talked about this last week, but that series is called Shifters Unbound, and it's by Jennifer Ashley. And this is book 14. Iron Master is book 14 in the series, I think. So I finished that one. I must say, this particular installment was about, there's an ongoing character who's a fae. The fae are in this series as well. It's not only about shifters, it's about the fae as well. The fae are usually the bad guys. But this particular fae is a good guy. 1 second, going back with our gentian blue just to put in the shadow over here and underneath our fish. Okay, and now we're just gonna blend that out. So he was a fae, and then the heroine was a bear shifter. She's also a character who's been in the series before. So both of them were characters that we'd met before. I think in the previous book that I read from the series, they were new. They were new to the series. Sometimes I like that because, for example, in this, I had built up expectations about these characters, and I think that it sort of, it was good. I enjoyed it overall, but it sort of fell flat. I felt that all the build-up of the characters was, wasted to a certain extent. And that happens sometimes when you've got characters that have been in previous books and you've built up sort of expectations. I'm just deepening up the shadows again with the gentian blue. Okay, now we're just going to blend out again with the jade green. We're just blending out this gentian blue. I'm also trying to leave some highlights. So built up expectations, and then my expectations were not met. But if it's a new couple or a couple who, they're new to the series, then you don't really have those expectations, and sometimes I enjoy those books more. But then there are times when the expectations are met. So for example, in this series 2 books ago, there was a polar bear shifter who'd also been in the series for a while, and his book definitely met expectations. I was very pleased with it. I enjoyed it very much. So yeah, it depends. This is what happens sometimes with long ongoing series. Also, there's some series which I feel it might be time for the series to come to an end. It's gone on, this particular series, I think we are rapidly approaching that time when it's time to call it quits, wrap up the ongoing arc, and move on. Okay, right now we're going to deepen up our shadows, and so we're going with the sapphire blue. All right, I'm going to try not to go into my highlight areas. So I think it's time for that series to perhaps start wrapping up. So I need to choose a new book, both an audio book and an ebook. And I think in terms of the ebook, I am going to go with book number, 16, I think it might be. This is not a series I want to wrap up. In the Sebastian Saint-Cyr series. Sebastian Saint-Cyr, it's a historical mystery by C.S. Harris about he's a Viscount, but he solves mysteries. And I love the series. It's set in Regency times. It starts as the Napoleonic Wars. But as the series is progressing over the years, I think we're almost at the end of the Napoleonic Wars in the series. But there's excellent characterization, character development in every book, which is hard. Sometimes, as you move into the later books in a series, character development can sort of fall to the wayside, but not in the series. The character development is still excellent. I love the heroine in this book, in the series. So the heroine in the series is not the original love interest for the hero. So there was a different love interest in the first few books, and I couldn't stand her. She was so annoying. No one in my Goodreads group, we're reading this together, and no one in the group could abide her. She was just terrible. And everyone was like, can't she get killed off? I won't tell you what happens to her, but suffices to say she's not the love interest anymore. And another character who was also in the series from the first book, she became the love interest, and everybody loves her. She's wonderful. She's kick butt. We adore her in the group. Anyway, she can take out 3 men with a frying pan. But I digress anyway. So I'm going to be reading, I think the book is called, all of the books start with a WH question word. So what or why or where or who. And so this one is called, I think it's called Who Will Remember? I can't really remember what it's about yet. I haven't started it yet, so I can't remember the blurb and what it said it was about. Oh, hold on. Sorry, off camera. I'm just moving up. I'm just deepening up all of my shadows under the fish. I'm also using the indications that Rita has given us for the shading. Okay, let's do here. Yeah, so I'm going to start reading that. And in terms of an audio book, I might actually read the next book in the Elemental Assassin series. I think I might be on book 12. It's been a while since I read a book in that series. I want to just blend this out with the jade green. Here too. Okay, let's deepen up those shadows. Oh, I really like this color combo that we've got here. Yeah, so I might actually read the next book in that series. What else happened? Oh yes, I also played some video games. So not last week, maybe the week before on this Saturday Snippets, I was talking about video games, and one of my subscribers recommended a game to me for the iPad. Thank you so much. I downloaded it, I started playing it, and I am hooked. It's called Lost Lands, and it's such fun. I'm enjoying it a lot. So it is a hidden objects game, but it's a hidden objects adventure game. So there are puzzles, hidden objects, but also other kinds of puzzles, and the graphics are excellent. The storyline is good. I'm enjoying it very much. And I was pleasantly surprised because it was free. Sometimes so you download a game from the App Store, and after you've played it for like 20 minutes or so, you have to purchase the whole game, which is not a problem. I like that. I like that you can play a demo before purchasing the game. So I was expecting at some point for the game to tell me to purchase the rest of the game, but it never happened. I kept playing and playing. I finished, I'm on the bonus chapter now. So I finished the main game and I didn't have to purchase it. So I have a feeling that the first episode in the first, game in the series, it's a series of games, is free. And then all the subsequent games you buy, which is, I'm good with that. I was very pleasantly surprised with that. Okay, let's... So over here, we're just darkening up our shadows around the crocodile. You can also darken up shadows around the bubbles if you're going to put in the bubbles. Underneath the fish. Make sure to leave highlights. Okay, so I played that game. I was also playing the ABC Murders, but I finished that one. So now I want to get another game from Steam to play on my Mac. Oh, it's so disappointing. There's so many good games, but most of them are for PC, and I just don't have a PC. So I have to limit my search to games that are available on the iPad, on the Mac. I looked into getting an emulator. You can get an emulator, to play PC games on a Mac. But the ones that require you to start fiddling with the settings on the computer, I don't want to use those. I don't want to ruin my computer and make it unusable. And then the other ones that don't require you to do that, some of them don't work well, or the reviews aren't very good. And others that do work well are really expensive. So I think I will just make do with the ones that are available for the Mac. And everything these days is a subscription model. So you can't just buy a program one time and have it work forever. Yeah, everything's a subscription model, or everything is pay for the updates, or it's very demoralizing. People aren't made of money. And I truly think that if you've bought a program, it should work all the time. You shouldn't have to, pay for the updates. It's not really nice. It's sort of a money grab. And these companies make so much money. Anyway, it's one of my pet peeves. So I did that. Trying to think, that's part of his... Oh, I see what that is. That's the bottom of his foot. Okay, hold on. So let's go back in with the sapphire blue and just put a little bit of... And now I'm just blending out. Yeah, Okay, so we're still with the sapphire blue. We're just blending out. We're just putting this in the shadow areas and then we'll blend it out. Yeah, so I also watched some TV shows. And I've gone back to watching People Magazine Investigates because the new season became available on HBO Max. So I started watching. And I saw, it's always interesting how I watch something on People Magazine Investigates and then there's an update in real life. So I had been watching the episode of People Magazine Investigates about Kristen Smart. And then this week, there was another search at the home of the mother of the man who was convicted of killing her because they've never found her body and they're still looking for it. But unfortunately, they didn't find anything, which is unfortunate. I really wish he would just, say what he did with her body. Give her family some closure, some peace. It's very sad. Anyway, so I watched that and I will continue watching that this week as well. I enjoy true crime shows very much. There's a whole list of them on the HBO Max player, so I will be watching. And make sure my door is locked because I end up scaring myself. Yeah, I'm glad I live in a small town. Very, very, very little crime in my little town, for which I'm very grateful. Yeah. Okay, I'm thinking we want to deepen up more shadows. I think so. So let's take, now I'm a bit wary of this color. Let me look at my swatches. Okay, here's my swatches. This night blue is this color. And let's see if it's going to make a nice gradient. So I've got all my colors that I've used so far. Then I used the gentian blue. All right, I blended this out with the jade green. Then I used the sapphire. Also the gentian blue. Just want to make sure that this is gonna look nice together. Okay. Sometimes, because it seems to have a bit of a purplish hue to it. Oh, actually, yes, it looks nice. Okay, yes, I like that gradient. So we're going to apply that to the page. Okay, so I am going to go in with the night blue in the deepest shadows. So just right around these objects. Okay, yeah, so I was watching that. I was also watching YouTube videos. So I watched, I'm going to give a couple of video recommendations. So I watched Crystal at Casually Coloring. She did a video of embellishments with white. So bubbles and stars and things like that using different mediums. So pencils, acrylic markers, gel pens, paint, to do all sorts of different embellishments for the page. Very useful, very fun video. Highly recommended. Another video that I watched is Jo at Piggy Pens gave a tour of her coloring corner. That was fun. So she showed us how a before and after, because she'd made some changes, and that was fun. And Mr. Piggy Pens was also there. He was cooking. That was a really fun, entertaining video. I also watched Natalia from, the name of her channel is Fearlessly Coloring. I think it's Fearlessly Coloring. I will make sure and put a link in the description box. I'll put links to these videos in the description box. So she did a video of her recommendations for beginner colorists. Yeah, I agreed with most of her recommendations. That was a fun video. Also, Helen at Helen. Something Heartworks. Again, I will put a link. She also had a video. I think it was her completed pages video that I really enjoyed watching. Again, I will put a link in the description box. Hers is a new channel. You can go, you can give her some love. I'm not sure we're going to need the indigo blue from the Polychromos. I think that this night blue from the Pablo is doing a great job of deepening up our shadows. Yeah. How long have we been coloring for? 40 minutes or so. I think I might leave the embellishments. Oh, the roommate has a cough. It's allergy season. It's terrible. It doesn't know, the weather doesn't know what it's doing. It's hot, it's cold, it's hot, it's cold. Everyone's starting to get the sniffles. Allergies are acting up. This is not a fun time of year. Not a fan. Once the summer comes, allergies get a bit better, but yeah. Until then, we have to put up with change of season. My allergies are not being nice to me. I do take an antihistamine, but the problem with antihistamines is it depends. Some of them make me sleepy, and others don't. The ones that don't make me sleepy don't work as well. Like, they wear off. So I have yet to find one that is really solves all my issues. The one I'm taking now is called Zyrtec, something like that. And it doesn't make me sleepy, which is good. And it helps with the runny nose and the runny eyes, but it doesn't really help with the itchy skin. For that I need a cream. Okay. Let's go back in. I'm just blending out a little bit more. I really like this combination that we've gotten going here. Okay, here for example, I think we need a bit more of the gentian blue. In this area over here. And now we can blend that out. Yeah. So, allergy season is the pits. What else? Did I see anything interesting on threads? What did I see? Oh, I saw some cute animal videos. One second. All right, now we're going back in with this night blue to deepen up our shadows over here, around the crocodile and his foot. So there was an animal video. There was a bear, and he got stuck in a bathroom. And the police came. They thought there was an intruder, and then they opened the door, and it was a bear, and the policeman ran away. And the bear just came out of the bathroom, ambled off in another direction, minding his own business. That was cute. And then there was the husky who was at Grandma's house, and Dad came to pick him up, only he didn't want to go home. He wanted to stay at Grandma's house. So there's this guy carrying this huge husky, and they get to the car, and you know how little kids put their legs out when they don't want to get in the car? So this is what the husky did. He stuck his legs out, and every time his dad tried to put him into the car, he put his legs out to not go in the car. Eventually, they managed to get him in the car, but then he sat with his back to the driver. He was pouting because he didn't want to leave Grandma's house. Okay, I'm just blending this out. Did I put it over there? I think I did. Let's just blend that over there. Such drama with huskies. They're very dramatic dogs. Very dramatic. Oh, I think I also want to put this night blue over there on top of that foot. Okay. And we're just blending. Okay. I think I'm going to zoom out and see what we have. Just putting it over here as well. See if we like our water. Okay, sometimes you can only see where you want to put extra shading once you've zoomed out. So let's zoom out and see what we've got. Yes, that's very nice. I like the look that we've gotten there. And I think what we're also going to do is we're going to take these colors and we're just going to do what we did here at the top around the sky and the tree to get our background. Yes, we're not doing a complete background for this page. We're not going to fill up the whole page with the background. We're just going to put hints of these colors around. So I'm taking the jade green and I'm just going to put this color around the edges of the water. Okay, I'm not going to put it over there because we're going to get pink and do it there. Okay, we didn't do that before, but we'll do it before the page is finished. Yeah, so there was the temperamental pouting husky. There was the trespassing bear. What else did I see? There was... I'm trying to see, what else did I see on threads? I can't remember. Never mind. I also saw, I understand that the weather in England is really being very also temperamental. And the Met Office posted on their Threads account that people have been asking them to change the weather, and they just want to clarify that they report the weather, they don't control the weather. So unfortunately, they apologize, but they are not able to turn the weather on and off. Oh yeah, I also saw something. There was a story about a lady who made a cheesecake and it fell flat, and the Cheesecake Factory commented on her post and they've given her a voucher for the Cheesecake Factory, which I think is so sweet. Yeah, her cheesecake did not rise not all cheesecakes need to rise. It depends on what kind of cheesecake you're making. If you're making a baked cheesecake, then it does need to rise. But if you're making a refrigerated cheesecake, which is the kind I like, I make those kinds. Yeah, I don't really like to cook. I'm not much of a cook. My brother, who is a chef, he has all of those genes. My grandfather was an amazing cook, and my mom was an amazing cook, but I did not inherit any of those genes. But I do like to bake. And I bake, I make scones, I make muffins, I make brownies. I haven't made brownies for a very long time, though. I make cheesecake. Yeah, so I do like to bake, but I don't like to cook. I do cook, because I have to, because, you have to eat. So I do cook, but it's not fun. I don't enjoy it as much as I do baking. So I actually made oatmeal muffins yesterday. I had made earlier in the week, I made vanilla muffins. I was following a new recipe, and the recipe did not require baking powder, and this was a mistake. It should have had baking powder because I think that they came out a little bit too dense. But my oatmeal muffins have come out really nicely. I'm very happy with them. Okay, I think we're going to leave it for now. Okay, I think we're going to leave it for now. And we are going to shade a little bit more of the background next week with the other colors. But for now, I think we have run out of time, and so this is it for today. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining with me as I've colored my water. I'm very pleased with the way it came out. We're going to, of course, come back, do the bubbles, add in waves, do some more of the background, and then we are going to start on our crocodiles. So yeah, again, thanks very much. I hope to see you again for more Saturday Snippets and other videos. Bye for now.